Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again, here with part 2 of my reaction to Mr. Brad Geary, former Navy SEAL commander, on the Resilience Show, talking about the truth about buds and moral courage. So let's jump back in.
Is that the longest? What's the longest you've seen the SDV guy underwater?
The longest I've heard of is about 14 hours, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's the longest one I've heard of. Yeah,
that's incredible.
It's a long time.
Time goes a lot slower.
A lot
when
slower.
You're underwater.
And what people don't realize too is you could be diving in the Caribbean, but if that water is not the same as your core temp, over time you're going to get hypothermic.
Yes,
it could be 95-degree water. It's like a hot bath. But over time, next thing you know, you're jackhammering, and it is absolutely excruciating.
Yeah. I'll tell you that a lot of the SDV guys that I've met have been some of them are a little weird.
It's okay that he said that. Same thing is said usually about submariners. Same thing is said about water operators within the regiment as well. But it's all my take anyway, which I probably didn't mention in the first reaction. Like the rivalry, it's friendly rivalry. It's banter. It's not, we're on the same team. They're on the same team. They're not, they may feel a certain way, and overall, like I mentioned, water operators may typically, or from my time anyway, typically were appeared to be fitter across the board on average than the other two troops. But hey, it's all friendly rivalry and banter. It's my take anyway. But a bit weird. That's our case. SDVs, SEAL delivery vehicles. Those team members, even more sneaky by the sounds of things, from what this former commander is saying anyway.
So yes. You're probably the most not normal one I've met.
Yeah, that's funny. It's true. I mean, you've got to be not quite right in the head to willingly endure that kind of suffering, because you don't have to go SDVs. You can avoid it your whole career.
Okay.
I say that SDVs they're kind of like the development group of undersea. Mm-hmm. That's how we should think of them. It's not like everyone knows what development group is, and it's this tier 1 premier unit that does all these great things, but it's a very small slice of the pie. What they're great at, the undersea piece. Yeah, no one can touch what SDVs does. They are world class, the absolute best. What a privilege that I was able to do both of those commands in my career and see such expertise in different realms and vastly different cultures too. That's a very interesting thing I saw as well.
Very, yeah.
I mean, your culture as an organization is very much defined by what's your priority. And like DEVGRU, if your priority is hostage rescue, time sensitive targeting, counterterrorism missions, well, that's what does well there. That personality that thrives in that kind of environment does well there. So that becomes your culture. We've said it before, wolves with table manners is what DEVGRU likes and looks for. Not my quote. Preston Klein said that one from Mission Critical Teams Institute.
Wolves with table manners. I like it. It's a cool quote.
Phenomenal human being, great insights. But in contrast, undersea, it is not time sensitive targeting. It is slow, methodical, deliberate, months of planning, rehearsing with the submarine force. The rapport you need to build with the submarine force to go execute a mission is insane levels of planning and rehearsals. So very, very slow, very, very patient, very, very deliberate, completely different organizational cultures.
Yeah. Again, I'm fascinated by it. Thanks for sharing it.
Of course. So it was fun.
So you've done, you also did SEAL Team 4, but then you were troop commander at Naval Special Warfare Development Group.
That's right.
Won't say the other name, but we've had presidents that have slipped up and said it. But it is one of two of the premier special operations units, not just in our country, in the world, and service in the command element there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible, an incredible accomplishment for you in your career, and I mean to lead some of the most elite warriors on the planet.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, got to have a role in.
When he said he won't say the other name, so the Naval Special Warfare Development Group, or DEVGRU, is he talking about SEAL Team 6? Is that the other name? I'm assuming that's the other name. What's wrong with saying the other name? I don't know. Anyway,
supporting work in there, and
Right.
And my observation is the individuals that work there are the most high level professionals that I've ever been around. That was blown away. I mean, I'd heard before going
Sure.
in to go there,
Yeah.
you see it. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, these guys are the real deal. And,
It's very impressive. Yeah.
And the capability in the, so officers as well, everybody goes to green team
Mhm.
and you do another year of training.
Mhm.
And then you get selected. And what's for an officer there, what's the kind of path, the career path?
Yeah. So, there's a lower ratio of officers there in like a SEAL troop there than there are at regular SEAL teams. I mean, it's pretty much you. So, you know, at a regular SEAL team, if you're a troop commander, well, you've got 2 platoon commanders under you.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath them, they've got a couple assistant officers in charge as well. So as you know, like that's a lot of opportunities to delegate some work down,
right.
You know, we're going to professionally develop you, young junior officer. Let me give you some of this work. Administrative, whatever, planning, mission planning, whatever. At DEVGRU, you're it, man. The troop commander is the lowest officer on the totem pole there. Mm. So you come out of green team, you jump into a troop there, and you're the guy running that troop. I shouldn't say running that troop. You're the guy in command of that troop.
Right. You got the chiefs.
The troop chief. Run. Yeah. A really good friend of mine characterized it very well. He says, you control the mission. Your troop chief controls the men. Mm-hmm. And I like the way he describes that. Now the men are part of the mission. So you're in command of that. You know, the buck stops with you. You're the decision maker, but, your troop chief is running the men and the different team leaders, and they have the autonomy on the battlefield. Whereas you have overall command of the mission, to include all the maneuver elements, you know, air, ground, your troops, whatever. So very, very fun, very fast paced. And there's a lot on your shoulders as a troop commander there. Like I said, no one really to delegate down to. It's kind of you. So a lot of mission planning, a lot of late nights, and a lot of deployments.
I mean, but there's a lot of things you don't have to deal with that you would deal with as an officer at a vanilla SEAL team. I don't know, that's an insulting word to say.
It's funny. It comes up. I mean, I don't think it's insulting to say, but some people have over time interpreted it as offensive. Yeah. And so
same as enabler, right? Enabler sounds bad.
Right. But it's like, no, essential, right? Yeah. And I'll be quite frank. There are some things that the regular SEAL teams do better than development group.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's not that one is better or worse. It's that DEVGRU is,
I think that's the same for with regards to conventional soldiering and operations and that as well. I think Jay Cal touches briefly on it in regards to his interview on the Sean Ryan show. You know, his exposure and his time in a conventional warfighting unit in the Royal Marines where he was exposed him to a lot of conventional type fighting and warfare, which put him in good stead based on the things that he was involved in before he went to SAS, which is awesome. So to hear a commander of this guy's caliber, who's been at the pointy end of the spear with Naval Special Warfare Development Group and other teams that he's been a part of with SDV as well, the SEAL delivery vehicle teams, that's really awesome praise. Vanilla SEAL teams, I think like what he said, sounds like and seems like over time people have maybe interpreted that to be insulting. But man, you're a Navy SEAL. I don't think that's insulting. Whether people, I get it, Delta and DEVGRU are considered tier 1s and Navy SEALs tier 2s, Green Berets tier 2s, etc. From what I've heard, from what I understand. But that's still high level. You're at an elite level of soldiering and performance. So I like what he's mentioned, that there are some things that the Navy SEAL teams do better than development group. That may be the same with regards to Delta as well. I don't know.
Funded and manned to be the best in the world. And like I said, this very small piece of the pie. Yeah. So they're the best at that stuff 100% because they dedicate the time and resources to it.
Very laser focused.
They're laser focused. And that doesn't make them the best at everything. And that's a misnomer that a lot of people get. They'll be like, oh, he's a DEVGRU SEAL. He's the best at everything now. No, it's just not true. Love those dudes. And hopefully they're not offended by me saying that, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
I've worked with them all, SEAL teams, undersea, and DEVGRU. And man, no one's the best at everything.
Right.
I love that he said that too. There's many people out there. I think even a number of 2-2 or ex-2-2 SAS guys. I know I've heard Australian operators, probably Kiwis are the same as well, in terms of the SAS operators. And I would say SBS are probably in the same boat as well, or same mindset. Like, just because you make it to those units, you are not automatically the best at everything. And I think that's probably a misconception, a thought that people think that, oh man, they must be, the best shooters, the best at this, the best at that. 100% not. One of the ones that I've heard describe it, which I really resonate with, a guy, I think it was, it might have been Colin McLaughlin, from former 2-2 SAS operator. Really good guy. I had the privilege to serve with him in the private security circuit for a while. But he's spoken about it in terms of, operators within the SAS are more generalists. And I can connect and relate to that. They're not, what's the term? Jack of all trades, master of none. So I think that term fits operators within the SAS. Don't get me wrong, they're very high level in the things that they do, and there are some things that they do extremely well. But yeah, I think generalists, jack of all trades, give us a task or present us with a problem, and we'll go, yep, we'll figure out a way to work through that and get through it, and leverage the skill set and knowledge and experience within the team to try to get that done. But yeah, definitely not the best in everything.
Like, so, and to include when you talk SEALs versus, Rangers and Green Berets and everything else, dude, any given day, no one's the best.
Everybody has a different mission, different skill sets. All those jobs are different. Special operations is not one thing.
Know your lane, be the best at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, when I say vanilla SEAL teams, I mean the traditional SEAL teams,
tracking.
right? So the leadership there can be different because now you're dealing with young guys getting in trouble.
Yeah,
like you're not dealing with a lot of that at DEVGRU.
That is absolutely true. You have to be a couple years in the SEAL teams. I think as an enlisted guy, you have to do 2 platoons. So you're at least 4 years into being a SEAL post the 64-week pipeline program before you can even screen for DEVGRU. And as an officer, I think it's even a little bit longer timeline wise the way it works. So yes, you end up getting a force that's kind of worked out all their young mistakes, their immaturity.
Unfortunately, I didn't in New Zealand. So probably that type of pipeline pathway may have worked out, may have been better for me in terms of me not making the silly mistake that I made in terms of getting into a fight that evening. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know that it would have anyway. It's one of those things, and what's happened has happened, and you can say everything happens for a reason. But I do like the rationale, and I think obviously UK have a similar sort of process. You have to do a certain amount of time. I think I spoke about one of the other reactions, officer time. Officers, they have to do a certain amount of time before they can apply to go on selection, from what I understand. NCOs or non-commissioned officers, ORs, other ranks, at least in New Zealand and Australia at the time that I was going through, you didn't have to. You could just put in your application and go, after your basic training, core training pieces had been done. So, maybe there's a piece in there which could be helpful in terms of setting some type of potential minimum requirement of soldiers, regardless of whether they're infantry or whatever, that they have to serve in the military before they can screen, as he mentioned there, or before they can go on selection. That's an interesting thought.
The human brain's not done developing till like 25. And I think in some dudes, it's closer to like 35.
Yeah.
So I think the average age of DEV group is like 33 is the average operator. So you get a more mature force. They're looking at it from a seasoned perspective for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause that, as a officer, better than me, you spend a lot of your time dealing with people problems,
liberty incidents. Yes.
So you deal with less there. That's with at the command, you're out there hunting the most wanted terrorists in the world. That's at least in the last 25 years. I think that's what the command's primarily been focused on.
Yeah.
And what's it like leading in that capacity? Like to know that you're responsible for going after the world's most wanted terrorist.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's intoxicating. I've talked a little bit about this over the years. I imagine it's like being on one of the most proficient, like high-end sports teams in the world, where there's that flow where everyone knows their job, everyone's working together well. They're not competing with each other as much as they are complementing each other and working together as a team at a very, very fast pace. But at a command like that, it's with high stakes. Yes. And so it's incredibly intoxicating, and it's just fun to be a part of that. It's humbling, but it's fun to be a part of that and know that, I have a role here and I'm contributing to this awesomeness. And it's just, you get so sucked into it. One guy said it really well. It's probably a little offensive, but he said, this place is like heroin. You know, he didn't take heroin, so I don't think he really knows. But he said, I imagine it's like addictive. Heroin. Yeah, like I know it's probably bad for me in the long run because I'm just going. But and I plan to quit one day, but after the next hit. And I like the way he framed that because it's fun. It's great. It's a great season of life. I've talked a lot about how hard that is, though, to sustain over the years, and how I think when you're doing dark work, even for a noble cause, over time, that dark work can have dark consequences, and it can start to affect the human and the brain and your psyche and your personality. And I saw that with myself. I saw it with some of my teammates.
It changes the culture.
It does. It does.
Wow. There's some powerful words there. Like I can connect with the words that he's saying, not because I've been in and out of that cycle or operational tempo. We've been in and out of jobs, because I haven't. I've only had a couple of deployments and then some jobs within those deployments, you know, where you go out on different tasks and different AOs, etc., which is cool. But hearing him talk about that, doing dark work, even though it's for a very noble cause, can start to, basically what I get from that, take its toll on the individuals, on the teams. And that last part that I just heard before I hit pause was, and it can impact the culture. I think there's truth to that, you know. So even though I've spoken about the war crimes allegations and things like that, and I'm biased towards my support of the regiment and individuals within it, until, you know, if things, and even then I've mentioned, like Ben Robert-Smith as an example, if he's found guilty, I personally don't see any reason for me to turn my back on him. I would still be his friend. If he wanted to, I still consider him a friend. But I could never condone that type of behavior if those things are found to be true, with regards to what has been alleged of all that sort of stuff. But just listening, connecting that piece that I just spoke about to what this guy and the host have just spoken about, man, that hits hard. And it, you know, I think I've heard Mark Wales, former SASR guy, officer, troop commander, speak about similar types of things where guys were just in that high of an operational rotation and not getting any decompression time, or not getting adequate decompression time or time to leave for leave before the next deployment, because I think the numbers, and they were stretched and they just needed people. So it can, you know, I could definitely imagine how it could have a seemingly negative impact on individuals and potentially on the culture of a group or of a team.
It does. It does. And so it's necessary work. It's noble work. It's virtuous work. There are evil people in this world that need to be hunted down 100%. But it comes at a cost. And I think I hope that's what the American public recognizes. And that when they say thank you for your service, I hope that's what they acknowledge, that, hey, it wasn't just the time away. This came at a very high human cost for these guys. And I didn't even do half the time that some of my friends have done there. I mean, by the time I even got there, the guys I was leading in my troop, the guys I was in command of in my troop, some of them had already had double-digit deployments to Afghanistan. So I'm rolling with these guys like, golly, dude, you've been doing this dark work for a long time.
Yeah.
And some of them held up with incredible resiliency over a decade plus.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And some of them didn't. There's a cost.
Yes.
Your marriages failed. Some guys became alcoholics, over the years, for sure. Especially as they leave that place. You've talked about this with a lot of guys, as that becomes part of your identity because you go all in on this. It really does become part of your identity. Dudes get the tats.
Yep.
We go all in on the culture.
It's impossible to transition away from. They feel it's impossible to transition.
Well, yeah, and it is. It really is. It's incredibly difficult. So it's a great place. It's a great place.
Well, one of the things, my exposure.
Man, it's cool to hear him talk like that about the place. It is sad as well, though, and it's nice to hear him talk about the realities of the cost. The cost is more than just the time away from family. The cost is much greater than that, and it also impacts the families in that as well, and the relationships. But man, that's an awesome. It's brief, but it sounds like a deep dive to me when I'm listening to him, because I'm picturing a whole bunch of people that I know flashing through my head. I'm also thinking of me in my time and thinking, you know what? If I wasn't such a blinking prideful, stubborn little brat with regards to that subject course that I didn't want to do, because all I wanted to do was I'd gotten a taste for operations. Coming back from Iraq, I just wanted to prepare for the next job, and the next job, and the next deployment. And because I couldn't see the forest for the trees, maybe for me, everything happens for a reason. Maybe I was clearly that was my path. I wasn't meant to carry on and be involved in the GWOT, because I was a bloody stubborn, pig-headed, prideful little brat, I think, with regards to that. But who knows? Maybe if I hadn't have been that, and maybe if I went along and stayed in, because I would have stayed in. There was nothing else I was going to do. Maybe it might have had a negative effect on me. I don't know. I'd like to think that it wouldn't, but I don't know, because I wasn't involved in that, and I wasn't involved in that cycle that a lot of my friends were and have been. I like to think that they're doing well, and hopefully that they're going okay. Many of them I haven't seen in more than 2 decades. But yeah, it's real food for thought for me, just listening to these 2 gentlemen speak. I really appreciate it. I really connect with it.
Being involved there that blew me away was the capability and assets.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is the question I was going to ask earlier. I just didn't know how to ask it, and it's kind of hitting me now. What makes it a unit like that classified as tier 1 or SMU, a special missions unit? It's the capability, right?
Yeah.
That's what classifies it.
It's a great question. It's a doctrinal term. It's not just the capability. Dang, dude, I'm going to mess this one up, but it's something about being, it becomes a priority manned, equipped, and funded unit. Like in the Navy, we call it a CNO priority 1 command, where hey man, they get pick of the litter. If they decide, if that command decides we want this person, you're going there.
Right.
Assuming you say, you can't be forced to go there, but
right.
So you become the priority fill. You become the priority resource. And you are the president's button, hey, we're in an emergency. We need this asset. We need this capability. And so you are on that recall status, and everyone else exists to support you when you're the supported command.
And they have everything in house there.
I mean, not at DEVGRU proper, but within the JSOC enterprise. Yes.
Right.
And that's what impressed me too, is it's not just the SEALs. You even talk to the guys who did the UBL raid, and they'll be like, yeah, man, it was like any other night on any other target, just happened to be where it was and who it was for. It's all the other assets that rally there to get the shooter to the X. I saw that once where we were looking at a hostage rescue operation, and I happened to be the operations officer at this time. So I had to pull together all the assets and the resources and come up with the plan. And we sent out like an email like, hey, this is going to be a time sensitive thing. If it gets approved by the president, we need a call to planners like now. And like within 24 hours, you had all these other components of the community all come to Virginia Beach, in this massive planning conference, like the best in the world at everything, right? At flying ISR, at flying helos, at heavy movement, lift capabilities, you know, operators, technicians, support, everyone, and their best are all in this room, like looking at me like, okay, you know, let's go. You're like, oh my gosh, like this is intimidating. But it was so awesome to just be a part of that and say, okay, you're the best at this, you're the best at this, you're the best at this, you're the best at this. Let's come together, come up with a cohesive plan that involves all of us, that is a manageable risk. And we think is a good proposal to send forward to say, yeah, we think we can do this or not. Yeah. Yeah. It's super fun.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Damn. There's a lot to it, eh? Like, just hearing that and listening to him articulate the breakdown of what and where and how the pieces fit together and how they move is pretty incredible. But anyway, that being said, I'm going to leave this one here because I can see some visitors outside who are some people very important to me, and they are waiting. So I'll wrap this one up, but appreciate your time if you stuck around this long. And as always, the message is the same. Regardless of your challenges, man, just keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, keep putting one foot in front of the other and take one day at a time. Know and trust that things can do and will get better. So anyway, as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.